Hello, hello. What's up, yo? It's your bro, Joe. Saying for heaven's sake, goodness sake, God bless, Godspeed. Gracious greetings. This is A Course in Miracles, full of meaningful meaning. I was just thinking, why is it that... At first I thought, like, why is it that I'm on this course? The course in what? In miracles are, actually. And then I was wondering, like, what is the opposite of this in some way? That'd be, I think, what basically something like nihilism is. And, like, doubling down on it would be the opposite of a miracle. Whereas a miracle is admitting nihilistic into, hey, this is the way sober-mindedly I see these things to be, what their dynamics, and how I know nihilistically they lead me to nihilism in some way that I don't actually want clearly. And this provides me the contrast learning to know that I want to see through beyond prior to, before that was, and have the experience of shining the light within the challenge of that meaningless meaning that is the momentum of the world of perception seems to be screaming in our faces in some big way. So the heart of myself, my character in the story and creation of who he be in his story, someone who interestingly was intensely questioned of whether he cared or not, or had a will or not in things. And there is like this sort of like, yeah, like I'm gonna like, what a great gauntlet to have gone through. It's like, I know I mean well, y'all, you know, and you can question me, and sometimes you will make me. There is ways I see in the development of he so far, the sincerity of his possibility of maybe they're right, maybe I don't care, maybe I'm willing to. I care enough to see that maybe it's true that what they're saying means I don't in some way, and I care enough to say I want to, if that's true in any way, wherever that seems to be true, actually, that supposedly I don't care in some sort of weird word that I don't understand that care doesn't care, or so, that I don't care about care or something like that. I'm willing to shake it off and look through and be like, okay, heart open more, you know, to what I know to be wholly true and what is really wanted for the goodness of the holy dream unfolding, like forgiving what I'm giving. To see beyond your hate of me, perhaps, what it seems to be, what I see as your hate of me, or my sisters or brothers, the others who happen to be on the side that you're not on. I'm categorically basically not in those sides usually in some way. I know I have proclivities basically in some way too. I notice naturally that I sort of side in some way slightly usually. And I understand both sides, and both sides attempt to push me into each of the other side. They say, like, I can't believe you would think blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think that. Categorically, that is not true about how this guy thinks. So maybe because you know that you've jumped into assumption about that, there may be other assumptions that you jump into too. Both sides that is not you, but like that you are caught in whatever you're caught in, and it makes sense. I can understand that, having grown up in a cult of a chamber of an echo chamber, your biases are certain ways to exaggerate, diminish, hide, or pretend. And if you know, I'm blessed to have like gone through that majorly, actually, so compromisingly so that I think I'm blessed to have been washed of it in big ways. So if you haven't had that challenge yet, then that's a challenge, actually, that you haven't had that challenge up in your face so much, so you're actually more vulnerable to it. Basically, that's within the realm of some people's actual experience, you know, many people's, in fact. But there's so much nuance. So anyways, let's get going, okay? Today's lesson number 27. Yesterday's lesson, my attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. The practice of it was really interesting to see what I was afraid of about a thing, and I'm going to practice that. I thought that this specific thing, I was like, I'm afraid I have to do that, and I can't do it without love. Like, I'm concerned about that dynamic, and I'm afraid that I have to do it without love. And I'm choosing it to be that the gift I'm giving is the blessing of knowing that it can be done with love when I do it, actually, no matter what, even though it seems to be like something like a cost that seems kind of like in the dream of my character seems like it could be kind of like unfair. And then I'm reminded of the prayer that comes from A Course in Miracles that says, we must be diligent against the temptation to see ourselves as specifically, specially poorly treated. So all these things are given. I'm giving them all to trust that everything is unfolding as how it's meant to be. And the meditations for yesterday's lesson were really great along these ways. Okay, above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to have the world be in the corner of my eye. I want to be above the battleground. That's a good section we could read that section, above the battleground. If you type that into Google or something like that, ACIM, above the battleground, you'll find cool things. Today's idea expresses something stronger than mere determination. It gives vision priority among your desires. Vision is seeing like what you want to see, actually. It isn't projection merely. Maybe it's the reflection of your true light. Is a distinction from what projection is. What your true light is, which is the will that you share with your creator to create creatively and like not separately, to unite and not divide. You may feel hesitation about using the idea on the grounds that you're not sure you really mean it. You do. This does not matter. The purpose of today's exercise is to bring the time when the idea will be wholly true a little nearer, and to know that it is only now, actually. That is your true will, here and fully. There may be a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation involved, add, vision has no cost to anyone, not true vision. If fear of loss still persists, add further, it can only bless. I read that be bliss. It can only be bliss. It can only bless. In my mind, for some reason, I said that. I saw that as it can only be bliss. It can only bless. For some reason. Paragraph number 3. The idea for today needs many repetitions for maximum benefit. It should be used at least every half hour, and more if possible. Okay. Every half hour. That's a lot, hey? Just reminding ourselves always throughout the day. Above all, I want to see. At least every half hour, and more if possible. You might try every 15 minutes or 20. It is recommended that you set a definite time interval for using the idea when you wake, or shortly afterwards. I'm on a different cycle, and the Spirit says that's okay. I read these midday. My midday is when I'm waking. This is the wake I am creating. Waving, waking, waves, as I leave behind me shareable miracle parables people can see as possibilities to also reach up and wake up and wave around. And attempt to adhere to your intervals throughout the day. It will not be difficult to do this even if you are engaged in conversation or otherwise occupied at the time. You can still repeat one short sentence to yourself without disturbing anything. A real question is, how often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true? Answer one of these questions and you will have answered the other. You want it to be true wholly, for sure, actually. You will probably miss several applications and perhaps quite a number. Do not be disturbed by this. Do not be disturbed by this. Do not be disturbed by this. But do try to keep your schedule from then on. If only once during the day you feel that you were perfectly sincere while you were repeating today's idea, you can be sure that you have saved yourself many years of effort. The Course in Miracles is about saving time. And in some ways this means saving time, like as for what it is for, actually, and re-giving it meaning. The meaning I give it is for giving what? Clear clarity to see through the meaning that it seems to be encroaching on me, of chaoticness, of meaningless meaning, of cruelty, of getting to see of myself as the vision that I want, myself above the battleground. It is in the corner of my eye, and as I shine from above it and within it, giving the sight of the seeing beyond it, the light of it, of that purpose, reflects back in me as people crack their scrunching faces into like more lightly ways of seeing and more lightly ways of being. That is the purpose that we share today. The lesson is to say, above all else, I want to see throughout your day, every half hour at least, and perhaps more. Okay? Sending my love. I love you. You.